In the near future, human activity drives the climate into disaster. Winters become extreme, temperatures crash, and lakes and rivers freeze for months. As survival gets harder, governments weaken, supply lines fail, and communities fracture. People stop trusting anyone outside their own group, and a civil war begins. The world is already collapsing. People die from hunger, thirst, cold, and disease. Rival factions build their own forces, raid towns, and fight non-stop for fuel, food, and territory. In Sweden, a risky plan is being prepared, one that might finally change the war's direction. No year is given, but the story opens in Sweden with Caroline riding in a car with her daughter. A radio broadcast mentions a dangerous incident, yet Caroline stays focused on her child, trying to keep the moment calm. Then gunfire erupts. Crowds run, screams rise, and armed soldiers flood the street, shooting civilians and turning the road into chaos. Caroline's daughter begs her to escape. Instead, Caroline shoves the girl down inside the car, trying to hide her under the seats. A soldier reaches the vehicle, smashes the window, and the scene cuts before we learn what happens to them. Years later, conditions are worse. Ruins cover the land, and the military is the only real authority. The rule is simple: kill or be killed. Caroline has lost her daughter. She picks up a weapon, buries her feelings, and becomes a soldier. While traveling by train, she's stopped at a station and handed orders. Report to a base immediately. She doesn't want to go, but refusal isn't an option anymore. Lieutenant Nylund arrives to pick her up. On the road, he asks questions, testing her reactions, but then he turns off and stops in a town, clearly not the base route. Nylund steps out for supplies and warns Caroline to stay in the car because the area is dangerous and unpredictable. Caroline disobeys. The moment she approaches locals, a man points a gun at her, and a group tries to take the vehicle. Caroline is armed and trained. She fights back, firing with precision and forcing them away. In the chaos, she leaves Lieutenant Nylund behind, takes the car, and drives straight to the base alone. At the gate, soldiers aim rifles and demand to know where the lieutenant is. Caroline shows her orders and says he didn't make it. She hides the truth, that he detoured and that she abandoned him in that town. After a tense pause, they let her in, but the suspicion doesn't fade. Inside, Caroline meets 3 other soldiers summoned for the same reason: Malik, Granvik, and Karimi. They're strangers, but Malik seems familiar with the base network and understands what's happening faster than the others. When he sees Karimi, he recognizes him as the man sent from Base 17, the base attacked the night before. Everyone there was killed. Karimi survived only because he was already traveling, and hearing it confirmed rattles him hard. Captain Forsberg arrives and takes the 4 to Colonel Rod. The briefing is blunt. The enemy has destroyed 3 Swedish bases, seized miles of territory, and killed thousands. If this base falls next, Sweden loses completely, and there may be no second chance. Colonel Rod admits they are losing, but says one hope remains. For the first time in 37 years, the Arctic archipelago is fully iced over. The ice is too thin for vehicles, but strong enough for skates. That's why these 4 were selected. They are professional skaters. Their mission is to carry 2 capsules to a distant research center without being seen. If they succeed, Rod claims, the war could end. The operation is called Black Crab because they must move cautiously and silently through the dark, like a crab crawling unseen. The enemy's identity and what the capsules contain has not been revealed yet. Colonel Rod warns them that if the mission fails, everything ends, not just for them, but for everyone left in Sweden. Caroline objects. The route is madness, thousands of miles, dodging patrols, traveling only at night, and doing it on ice skates across sea ice. To her, it's a suicide mission. She refuses. Rod snaps that he isn't asking. This is an order. Then he pulls her aside and uses the one thing that can move her. He brings up the day she was in the car with her daughter when gunfire erupted, and the child vanished. Caroline has searched for years. Now Rod shows her a photo. Her daughter is alive, seen in a camp, and that camp sits near their destination, the research site where the 2 capsules must be delivered. The photo shatters Caroline. She agrees, not because she trusts the plan, but because it's her first real lead. Back with the team, they're calling Black Crab a death march. Caroline tells them they're the only ones who can do it, and if they succeed, it could save their people. The others admit what they're hanging on to. Malik says he'll find his brother if the war ends. Granvik asks Karimi what he'd do in peace, and Karimi says he was supposed to get married. He still dreams of finding his girlfriend and finishing that life. Captain Forsberg arrives with essential gear and orders them to rest, even if it's only for a few hours. They must leave before dawn, because daylight makes them easy targets on open ice. Night is their only cover. This base is the last one still standing, until the enemy attacks. Sirens, gunfire, and panic explode through the corridors. With the walls shaking, there's no time to wait. Colonel Rod rushes out, hands them the 2 capsules, and makes it clear: protect these over your own lives. Then Lieutenant Nylund, the officer Caroline left behind earlier, shows up alive. Rod assigns him to the mission. Caroline hates it and doesn't trust him, especially because he wasn't part of the briefing and suddenly has authority over them. They launch immediately, skating into the darkness while the base burns behind them. They push all night. At dawn, Forsberg calls a stop and repeats the rule: move only after dark, or the enemy will spot them from far away. The ice starts to fail. A crack runs under Forsberg and she drops into freezing water. Everyone flattens onto the ice to spread their weight, but the capsule bag is with her. Caroline dives in without thinking. The current drags Forsberg too far to save, yet Caroline manages to grab the capsules and crawl back out. Caroline is near collapse, so they drag her into a nearby building and light a fire to warm her body back up before they push on again. Forsberg is dead. With the leader gone, Malik argues they must follow chain of command. Lieutenant Nylund outranks them, so he should lead. Caroline fights back. Why him when he wasn't even briefed? The argument heats up, but Malik forces it down. They stay hidden because they're already inside enemy territory. That night, while Caroline and the others rest, she hears whispers outside. She steps out and catches Karimi crouched over a radio, trying to contact someone. Before she can question him, an enemy helicopter sweeps in. The team grabs their packs and runs as the chopper blasts their shelter, tearing the building apart. Caroline levels her rifle at Karimi. Who were you talking to? Karimi insists he isn't a traitor. He says he was trying to reach his own base because Malik told him Base 17 was attacked. He needs to know if his girlfriend survived. Malik argues it's a setup. How else would the helicopter find them so fast? He wants Karimi executed. Lieutenant Nylund refuses and makes a compromise. Take Karimi's weapon. Unarmed, Karimi has no choice but to follow. They move across a frozen river and the ice turns glassy. Beneath it lie bodies trapped under the surface. The sight is terrifying, but they keep going. Another helicopter passes, spots them, and starts firing. Gunfire chews the ice around their skates. They split up, sprinting across open ground until they regroup under a bridge as the rotors circle and drift away. Nylund orders a short wait, then pushes them toward an island, searching nearby homes for supplies. They notice a barn with electricity and creep inside. An elderly couple lives there and offers food. The old man says they stayed because dying at home is better than dying in a refugee camp. During the meal, Caroline drops her soup bowl. As she reaches down, she spots a gun hidden under the table. Before she can warn the others, the old man fires. A firefight erupts. The couple is killed and Karimi is shot dead. Malik takes a round to the stomach and starts fading. Then Karimi's radio crackles. Granvik answers, and a young woman says she's Karimi's girlfriend. The truth hits hard. Karimi really was trying to reach home. They can't even bury him. The ice won't allow it. With Malik bleeding and time running out, they leave immediately. Ahead, a ship sits frozen solid in the ice. Maybe shelter, maybe supplies, and maybe their only chance to keep the mission alive. They reach a ship frozen into the ice and climb inside to rest and scavenge. The emptiness of the cabins and the weight of the mission finally crack Granvik. He grabs one capsule and demands to know what they're sacrificing everything for. Lieutenant Nylund and Caroline try to stop him, but Granvik opens it anyway. Inside is a sealed bottle. Caroline says it could be a virus, a biological weapon. If that's true, ending the war would mean ending the enemy by infecting them, and possibly anyone else who gets exposed. The thought is sickening. Their own commanders might be trading victory for mass death. While they argue, Malik, already dying from his wound, shoots himself. Caroline warns the gunshot could bring the enemy and orders them out. Granvik snaps that she acts like none of this matters. Caroline answers that she didn't come here to die, and if she has to, she'll continue alone. Her focus is simple: her daughter. Caroline takes the capsules and skates off by herself. Soon, she hits a weak stretch of ice, thinned by shifting water underneath. She tries to step lightly, but the surface gives way, and she drops into freezing water. Granvik and Nylund catch up and throw a rope. They drag her out and save her life, then take the capsules from her so she can't run again. From this point on, Granvik and Nylund are no longer sure they should deliver the payload. If it's a virus, it could wipe out civilians as easily as soldiers. The only way forward is across even more unstable ice, so the three tie themselves together with the rope and move as one. A flare flashes overhead, and enemy shots come in. Granvik fires back and kills the shooter. With darkness falling, they hide for the night in an enemy camp, using it as cover. Granvik is the youngest, and what he's seen has wrecked him. He tells them about the time the enemy buried people alive, turning pits into living graves. He remembers seeing rats crawling over his fallen friend. When he escaped, he joined the army because it was the only way to survive. Caroline cuts him off. A soldier's job is to finish the mission, not to think about corpses. Granvik replies that no matter what he says, she drags it back to the mission. Nylund asks Caroline why she cares so much after seeing what's inside the capsule. She stays silent, and Nylund tells them to sleep. At dawn, they're attacked. Nylund disappears with the capsules. Caroline and Granvik fight with almost no bullets, using grenades instead. Caroline is hit, her throw goes wrong, and the grenade explodes close, killing Granvik. Bleeding, Caroline grabs Granvik's rifle and skates after Nylund. She spots him ahead and yells for him to stop. He keeps going, so she shoots him to bring him down. As Caroline rips the capsules free, Nylund begs her to throw them into the water. He says the virus won't just kill enemies, it will kill innocent people too. Caroline refuses. To her, finding her daughter matters more than anything else. Caroline pushes forward with the capsule, but her body is failing. She stumbles, collapses, and slips into darkness. Two riders on horseback reach her and speak a code word: Black. Caroline remembers the operation name and answers, Crab. The match confirms her identity, and she passes out. Hours later, Caroline wakes inside a medical center at the facility. A doctor tells her the bullet has been removed, but she suffered severe frostbite. 3 fingers had to be amputated. Then she's ordered to get ready. Admiral Nord wants to see her. Caroline is brought before the Admiral and several officers. Admiral Nord congratulates her for completing the mission and even awards her a medal for bravery. Caroline also spots Lieutenant Nylund in the room, alive, rescued as well. Caroline immediately asks for her daughter. She demands to see her. Admiral Nord admits the truth. They lied. They knew Caroline's daughter was the only leverage strong enough to make her accept the mission. But the girl isn't here. Caroline snaps. She lunges and breaks the Admiral's nose before Nylund restrains her. Later, while her wounds are being treated, Caroline hides a scalpel. She finds Nylund and finally agrees with him. The virus has to be destroyed. Nylund says it's too late. When they had a chance, she refused to listen. But Caroline won't accept that. If her daughter is still alive somewhere in the world, Caroline cannot allow this virus to reach her or anyone else. Nylund asks how they're supposed to stop it. They're injured, unarmed, and surrounded by soldiers who think they're heroes. Caroline points to their medals. That's their disguise. People will hesitate. Doors will open. They reach the lab area and force their way inside, firing at guards to get through. They seize the virus tubes, then plan to blow the lab with a grenade and die with it, ending the threat permanently. A scientist stops them. He warns that detonating inside would spread the virus through the building. killing people nearby while leaving the virus alive and moving. If they want it gone, they must take it outside. Alarms begin blaring. The scientist triggers an evacuation alert, and personnel rush to leave. In the chaos, Caroline and Nyland steal protective suits and slip out with the virus. Caroline's stitches tear open, and she starts weakening again, but they keep moving until they reach a helicopter zone. Nyland runs to get help, only to be seized by soldiers. Admiral Nord arrives furious and orders them to stop. Caroline signals Nyland to stay back. Then she reveals a grenade rigged with the virus tubes. Admiral Nord begs her not to do it, warning she'll destroy everything. Caroline walks to the edge. From the helicopter, Nyland watches, helpless. Admiral Nord pleads one last time. Think about your daughter. Caroline smiles and says she is thinking about her. Then she jumps. The grenade detonates below, destroying Caroline and wiping out the virus with her. And that's where the film ends.